Alright, another practice down, and this time Jalen Hurts was in his bag, showcasing elite accuracy and dropping dimes, leaving several Eagles in awe. Nakobe Dean has also impressed, but who's the new linebacker next to him on first-team reps? Plus, one undrafted free agent was opening eyes. Does he have a chance to make the roster, along with several other positional battles? So let's break it down. But first, let's run it. Hey guys, in case you're new to the channel, I'm Josh and I cover the birds. So by now, the Eagles have released their Kelly green jerseys to the public. I'm curious how many of you went to the tailgate at the link, and how many actually purchased jerseys. The official picks the Eagles release can only be described as perfection, in my humble opinion. It was also pretty cool to see NFL Network Mike Garafolo's reaction to getting his hands on the official gear.
We got a gift box from the Eagles.
Oh! Look at it.
All right, look. It is. Take it out. Go ahead. Come on.
Let's go.
Look at that. Number one.
Kelly green.
You know, I'm. Give me the helmet too. Give me it all. Give me it all. I grew up just a couple of blocks away from here, and this is what everything looked. Put it on, Jamie. Go for it. Thank you to the Eagles. Not just for bringing this over, but for actually bringing this all back. This is, it's like I'm 10 years old again.
Yep.
This is amazing.
I can't wait to get one, but now I'm just wondering which players should I get in the Kelly green. This is also where I should apologize to AJ Lopez for calling the jersey leak fake, because based on his video from back in June and comparing with recent pics, it looks like he had the real thing back then. I have no clue how a vendor would get access or why they jeopardize future business releasing early, but regardless, Sweaty J himself, Josh Sweat, is a big fan, going as far to say they need to be permanent. We can wear the black as an alternate, but the Kelly green needs to be the main. Look, I love the Kelly green, although I don't know if I'd go as far to say they need to be the main jerseys, but do you agree with Sweat? The Birds also showcased another jersey combo at practice yesterday, displaying the camo colors to celebrate the Salute to Service Day at Eagles camp, where members of the military and their families got to meet players and take some pics. And I'll also never miss an opportunity to thank all the incredible servicemen and women out there. You're the real heroes without a doubt. Talking about men in uniform, Haason Reddick was back on the field in limited capacity along with Avonte Maddox and Derek Barnett, but it was great to see the all-pro edge out there having been dealing with a sore groin. Can we just stop for a second to point out how massive Jordan Davis is? Pause. I mean, my gosh, he's out there making Reddick and Jalen Carter look like kids. It's kind of crazy because you remember when reports came out in OTAs about JD slimming up, and a lot of us may have freaked out thinking he'd lost significant weight. Apparently that's a little exaggerated, but the Dancing Bear does feel very handsome.
I'm still 340, 345ish, so it's all about conditioning. You really, I have a good shape, so, you know, that's all I worry about is just how I look in the mirror every day. My face slims up, so I'm like, all right, you know, I look a little bit more handsome. That's a little motivating, too. You know, you want to look good, feel good, play good, and that just be healthy for life, too, so that's all it really takes.
I get it, bro. Definitely agree with the look good, feel good, play good. The trick for JD is just that he stopped eating his favorite cannolis and has been enjoying more Angelo's and a hibachi food truck on Spruce Street. Davis declined to name the food truck because he didn't want to give away any free publicity, but out of random curiosity, I'm interested to know if anybody knows the name of that hibachi food truck. I'm sure all the Philly Dogs know because according to Nolan Smith, they started an exclusive Philly Dogs group chat of all the Georgia teammates on the Eagles now.
Love to be a part of one someday.
It was only a matter of time before that happened anyway. Several of those Philly Dogs might be the reason Josh Sweat was so confident when being asked if there's a better pass rusher group in the NFL.
Come on, man. After what we done, it can't. Some people will tell you, you know, otherwise, but no. We the most stacked D-line for sure.
Yeah, the D-line is stacked. Sweaty J kept up that energy in practice, disrupting a couple plays in the backfield and getting there as soon as the ball was snapped to record a sack. I've talked about him more in previous videos, but I honestly think Josh is one of the most underrated players on the defense. But this year, people are going to notice him. No, it's not just because we have the same first name. Although the guy with a pretty nice last name also performed well too, as Brandon Lee Gouton reported Jordan Davis had a play that he literally wrecked a tight end screen. The pass rush was working too, with Nolan Smith recording a quarterback pressure and forcing Hurts out of the pocket. I saw a couple comments asking if that was from the edge or off-ball linebacker position, and although I couldn't find anything definitive, I'm assuming it was the edge since a move from an off-ball linebacker spot would have surely generated some more hype. Yet there is some more hype continuing to grow for the Budda Christian Elliss, who EJ Smith said got first-team reps next to Nakobe Dean yesterday. By the way, I've mentioned it before, but in case you're wondering, Ellis' nickname is Budda, and he might get more nicknames nicknames if he keeps up the way he's been playing. With John McMullen saying Elliss continues to get reps with the first team defense and has clearly been the Eagles' best coverage linebacker. On back-to-back reps during one 7-on-7 period yesterday, Elliss locked down Kenny G, who is a very good receiver out of the backfield. I don't know if you think Kenny Gainwell qualifies as very good out of the backfield, but either way, this just keeps building the momentum for a guy I think will start next to Dean. Another practice, no Dean highlights or anything, although corners James Bradbury and Zach McPherson have been vocal about their support for Dean. With the nickel cornerback saying, I really like Nakobe with the green dot. He has a lot of confidence. He's like a vet out there. He takes pride in his game. He's not afraid to be a leader, not afraid to be loud. I think that's a really good fit for him, and he's handled it really well in the huddle. That's obviously a good sign and something you want to hear, and Dean's been pretty transparent about dealing with the natural growing pains that come with learning a new playbook and scheme, but said he's typically at the complex from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. I love that type of dedication, and just a theory on why Dean is not making as much noise during this training camp is possibly by the fact that the passing game usually has more of a legitimate look because you're not getting guys in pads. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think though? I feel like once we get the pads on, we might start seeing a little bit more from Dean. The DBs got an early start to practice going over coverages before it was eventually noted Kvon Wallace got some first team reps next to Reed Blankenship. I am not sure how I feel about that.
I don't like it.
It's early though, so you can understand not letting a guy like Sidney Brown have the first team reps yet. But it didn't help the Rook's case getting burned by Devontae Smith for a TD while also committing a penalty. To be fair, everyone meets the Slim Reaper at some point, plus having the second or third team D against Smitty doesn't really seem fair. Brown redeemed himself later, making a great read on a running play which according to Elliott Shore-Parks would have been a massive hit. It seems like the only constant at safety so far is Reed Blankenship. He obviously learned it last season and it's not surprising to me if we see him in the starting role. Personally, I think it comes down to Terrell Edmunds on if he keeps the starting job. Definitely something we'll continue to monitor. Yet another defensive back to watch is undrafted free agent Mekhi Garner, who SI.com noted is opening eyes with his size and physicality. At 6'2", 212, receivers know it when Garner gets his hands on them at the line of scrimmage. As John McMullen mentioned a couple times specifically, when Garner completely rerouted Olamide Zaccheaus on a route and then stifled Tyree Cleveland on another. Garner's one of those guys I talked about during OTAs, and I think this is the first time hearing his name mentioned at camp. It's a crazy stacked DB room. However, not impossible to earn a roster spot. Speaking of the cornerbacks, James Bradbury referred to defensive coordinator Sean Desai as a guru because he understands the NFL game and that's what makes him really smart. Bradbury said he puts us in position to make plays, so that's what I'm learning about the system and about him as well. JB continues to have a very strong camp and was in another position to make a play where Brandon Lee Gowton said the All-Pro picked off Marcus Mariota on a 3rd and 15 situation. Depending on who you ask, it also happened to be a pick six, but who's counting? I don't know, maybe the DC after Desai said it doesn't matter who's on your team or where you came from, it's about what's going on today and winning the day really as best you can. Unfortunately for Desai and the defense, the offense won the day, thanks to Jalen Hurts reportedly having his best day at camp so far, and impressing Tim McManus to say 2 words I wrote down when watching his delivery were effortless and accurate, descriptors that wouldn't have always fit previous years.
That's shocking.
Is it really though? Remember just a couple months ago when ESPN's Jeremy Fowler said the Eagles expect Hurts to make another jump because he's done it every year and they believe he can be one of those elite precision type pocket passers, which I'm all for improvement and have no doubt Jalen could reach a whole other level, except how much more are we talking about? Again, let's look at the significant improvement he made last season from inside the pocket, jumping up 6 in completion percentage, 2 yards per attempt, and over 20 points in passer rating. So it's not really a surprise to the staff in the building.
We'll never put a ceiling on what he can accomplish. With Jalen, nothing that he ever does will surprise me. He works like a madman. He's very, very diligent. He's very intentional about what he wants. And that shows on a daily basis in how he operates.
I know offensive coordinator Brian Johnson said that nothing Hurts does will surprise him, and Jalen literally is breed of one. For example, a photo was leaked from Ty Zentner, yes, Legatron Ty Zentner, of Jalen Hurts in a team meeting, and if you look very closely there, the lock screen on his phone is of him walking off the field at the Super Bowl with confetti falling, clearly pointing out that this man is on a mission. mission. Well, QB1's operation was clinical on Sunday, starting out with some screen work to receivers, which I think it's worth pointing out. We know that's a big part of the offense, although based on coverage so far, it seems like Philly intends to utilize the screen game even more. Jalen began with a laser to A.J. Brown, as Josh Tolentino pointed out. Hurts was hitting receivers in stride constantly, and he could notice the difference in his accuracy versus the other QBs when they attempted the same throws. That only got better once 11-on-11s picked up, beginning with 4 straight completions capped off by a perfect dime over double coverage and into the outstretched arms of Quez Watkins. Yet the play of the day from every media member was made by DeAndre Swift. As Jimmy Kempski shared, Swift was streaking down the left sideline trying to track a deep ball from Jalen Hurts while Nicholas Morrow and Justin Evans were in coverage. Morrow then very clearly interfered with Swift as the ball was coming down, which caused Swift to fall to the ground, but kept his focus on the football and made the catch anyway. It seems like every practice we're hearing about the playmaking and the passing game from Swift. I can't wait until we get to see it in a game because the new RB adds that extra element to the offense, and quite frankly, I don't know how a defensive coordinator stops all these weapons.
I don't know what I'm doing!
Sorry. Not sorry. And we haven't even gotten to Rashaad Penny, who's looking thinner and ready to seriously impact the run game.
I was at 235, 237 in Seattle. I'm about 230 right now, and we working to just get even lower. I want to get back to being in the college shape, back to 225, and just moving better. I mean, just me cutting off a couple pounds from last year, I just feel lighter. My ankles feel great, and my knees feel amazing.
The fact that he feels amazing has got to scare some teams, and I know it's hard to tell based off videos, but doesn't he look really good compared to the initial presser from 4 months ago? I think his best days are ahead of him, but what do you think? Hopefully the same can be said about Quez Watkins, who had his strongest day at camp so far, continuing to solidify the wide receiver 3 spot. Love to see it, and awesome numbers from Jalen, who went 16 for 19 with 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Yes, I realize I said Sidney Brown got torched by Devontae for a touchdown earlier, but some media members said he got touched at the 10, so who knows? Regardless, it was a great day carving up the secondary, at which point Howie Roseman was observed making the rounds around practice, thinking about a potential trade for Budda Baker, perhaps? I hate to burst your bubble, but it doesn't look likely anymore, since the Arizona All-Pro had his contract dispute resolved due to some restructuring and is saying he's now all in to Jonathan Gannon's guaranteed to fail plan. Of course, you could point to the fact that Baker liked the Eagles' official schedule release and Haason Reddick's post, as well as countless others on social media. However, I personally feel like the door's closed for good. What do you guys think? And going back to Howie making the rounds, who do you feel like he's possibly thinking about or considering? Another area we're not completely sure about is O-line depth, as Jack Driscoll and Dennis Kelly swapped tackle positions in the most recent practice, which I'm in favor of so that both can plug and play at either spot in case of injuries. And then there's also the question of right guard, which Sirianni gave Jurgens the nod again, despite saying nothing, like absolutely nothing, is set in stone, and it'll be more valuable to see how they perform once the pads come on. So you may be asking, when can we expect the pads to come on? Well, technically Sunday was the last day of mandated acclimation period for the Birds, so it could be as early as tomorrow. However, when asked, Sirianni said he wasn't sure and needed to check the schedule. I don't buy that one bit. Maybe he's being coy, but there's no doubt in my mind the Eagles have had it completely planned out for some time. I can't wait for the pads to come on, and neither can Superman.
A lot of things can be eliminated, a lot of MAs, a lot of mistakes by just going fast and hitting somebody. So that's what I can't wait to do.
Yep, football is here. By the way, in case you're wanting to win a Kelly Green jersey of your choosing, tune in to the live show this Wednesday, August 2nd at 7 o'clock Eastern, where we'll be doing a live drawing. This has been the Philly Special.